You're about to listen to TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games. It's a comedy video game podcast. We would like to stress that the hosts are not experts and are really just very crass commentators. Seriously, this is an explicit podcast that happens to talk about video games sometimes. So please enjoy this pretty okay podcast with Tyler and Dave.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to another TADPOG podcast. It's a show where two old guys and another, I think, maybe a little bit old guy.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know.
We have no idea how old he is.
Of indeterminate age.
Indeterminate age, yeah, exactly. He drank a potion of youth, and we're not able to determine his age. We haven't cut him open and we haven't counted the rings yet.
Like we do with all guests.
Yeah, all our guests, we dissect and then count the rings. All our guests have been trees.
Play old games. So today we are doing not talking hard.
Yeah, it's just a podcast. It's
just an audio medium.
Yeah,
you don't have to sound fine.
No.
Where we have worked with a Facebook group.
Yeah.
The retro. I think the name recently changed. Correct.
Yes, it did. And I think so that he can talk, we can go ahead
we'll go ahead and start. Stephen Michael.
Stephen Michael from Facebook.
Of the number one Nerdy Thursday.
Super fan.
What's
Welcome to
going
the
on,
show,
guys?
man. Oh, not much.
Thank you very much.
So yeah,
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no problem. I noticed maybe by a couple days ago, the Facebook group that you started changed names.
Yeah, we just switched over. It used to be the Retro Video Game of the Month Club. And that started in December of 2017. And we kind of launched in January of 2018. But just this past couple weeks, maybe, we just switched over to Retro Gaming Monthly. I figured it would be a lot easier to remember, find. Plus, I got the domain retrogamingmonthly.com.
Nice.
And as of right now, yeah, all it does is it just forwards you to the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Might end up throwing a site on it depending on how the group grows and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Just Retro Gaming Monthly.
Cool. I feel like that's a good domain to get. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that wasn't taken.
Yeah, me too. And it's a play on EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly,
sure.
Gaming magazine. So hopefully that'll give a little easier brand recognition.
Yeah, months ago, Dave had the idea of let's do the game that they talk about that month. Let's just keep doing that. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean the group is great.
Synergy.
Yeah, synergy, business practices. The group is great. I'm really happy to be part of it. It's amazing how it's like, I don't know, I knew that the game we're talking about today is Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, and it's like one of those games where I probably honestly never would have played if it hadn't been selected as the game of the month through your club. So it gave me a reason to play it.
Yeah, no, and that was the whole purpose of me trying to create this and come up with it. And first off, I just want to thank you guys very much. You guys have been enormous supporters between shouting it out on the show and Dave when you stream talking about it and picking the games and everything. I mean, that means a lot to me. You guys have brought a lot of people into the group, which just makes it more fun for everybody because I'm not making any money on this. In fact, I've given away gift cards and Mega Man 11 and yeah, it's costing me money, but I'm doing it specifically because I want to grow and actually have a cool little group like this. So I appreciate the high praise. And I collect video games. My main collection right now is the original Nintendo. I'm around 540, I believe.
Nice.
With around 100 or so boxes and manuals. So most of it's loose. And then I've also, collect Super Nintendo, 64, pretty much all the Sega systems, stuff like that. So my thought was, hey, I never play any of these games. At least it's pretty rare. So if I create this community, put out a vote, or put out a list of games and get suggestions back on games, then the community kind of decides what are we going to play. And of course, for December, Castle of Illusion 1, which again would be another game I probably would not have played myself, actually. But it was cool to actually get in. And then the group also gives me an opportunity to look into the game itself a little deeper and, learn about the background and the history and make different posts about speed runs or whatever and learn about the developers and just the history behind the game. So it's my new number one hobby is this group. And I love how much it's grown in such a short period of time.
Yeah, it's a great group. Anybody listening, I know you've heard me say it before, but I highly recommend you check it out. It's a very active group, which is fun because there's a lot of talk about the game that's selected for that month. There's a lot of talk about that game during that month. I know, like when we did last month, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I mean, that's the most I think I've ever talked to people about that game ever. And we have done an episode. Oh, right, exactly. We did a show on it. It's like, man, we're talking more about the game here than we ever did on the show. So I mean, it's really cool. I'm glad that we're a part of it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm honored that you guys are a part of it.
So out of your collection, because that's a huge fucking collection. What are some of your rare gems that you have?
Some of my rarest, I would say, let's see, for the original Nintendo, I have Panic Restaurant. I have a Zombie Nation. I have probably my favorite, although it's not the most expensive. My favorite is I have a extremely good condition, borderline mint, and I know people hate that word, copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighter.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got this thing right now. It kind of fluctuates, but in its condition, anywhere from probably $400 to $600. But I ended up getting this thing. I want to say for maybe $30 or $40.
Where'd you
back
find
in the
that?
day. Actually, a local game store near me, about maybe a half hour or so, called Video Game Connection in Cleveland. I ended up working out there, and I already had a full-time job. I was basically a grown-ass man collecting, 20-year-old games at that time as opposed to 30-year-old games. And instead of drawing a paycheck, I would just take the money that they would give me, and I would get 50% off in the store. So I would literally just take all the money from them, put it back into the store, plus my own money, and was just wiling out buying all these damn games.
Damn.
So yeah, my collection kind of started when I got into the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Okay.
Which one day I was at work. I was doing IT at the time, and I'm on my lunch break surfing the internet. Came across I'm a huge Turtle fan. If you can't tell by my favorite game, even though it's a terrible game.
It's okay.
The Tournament Fighter on the NES is garbage.
Yeah, I haven't played it on the NES, to be fair.
Yeah, that one's garbage.
Okay.
My actual favorite game is Turtles 2 on the NES, but
Yeah,
that's
that's a
my
good one.
probably most prized. At any rate, came across his original Turtles video on YouTube and ended up just kind of going down a rabbit hole with all of his stuff. So kind of my favorite stuff that I own from retro video games, which isn't really retro video games themselves, is I own probably 50 or 60 art pieces from Angry Video Game Nerd intro cards, like title cards
That's amazing.
on the original
Pretty cool.
videos.
How do you get those?
Yes. So in 2008, well before he got, famous, or relatively speaking famous, I ended up messaging Mike Matei, who,
Nice.
does the, James and Mike Mondays and all that. Well,
Yeah.
he did all the original title cards. So on my wall, actually behind me right now, I have like the Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Ghostbusters, Silver Surfer, Spider-Man, Batman, Rambo, Star Trek, Deadly Towers. I got an unreleased E.T., and that one's signed by Mike Matei, Kyle Justin, who did the intro song, and James himself. Plus, I got tons of stuff, tons of art. Just finding Mike online and messaging him directly. He's like, "Oh yeah, definitely sell you this stuff," and I got him relatively inexpensive. Plus, he did a custom piece for me, saying for AVG fan Steve. And then, so that kind of got me into this rabbit hole of collecting and spending thousands and thousands of dollars on 20 and 30-year-old games.
Well, I mean, a lot of people do it. I mean, that's a really nice collection, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
because I also love AVGN, so that
awesome.
warms my heart that you enjoy him and know. Though you have some stuff from his iconic episodes, though, like having the Silver Surfer, and
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, and it was like really original, or rather like all of his old stuff. And he doesn't do it anymore. Mike doesn't really draw the intro cards for anything, which is kind of sad, I think. But yeah, I was really happy to get that. And I've met, James and Mike a bunch of times at conventions. I don't know. Do you guys remember Screw Attack?
Yeah.
I think they're still around, but they had SGC, Screw Attack Gaming Convention. So I went down there their first year. I want to say maybe it was 2009. I went there for a few years and got to meet them and hang out and made a bunch of friends in the retro gaming community. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I really like James and Mike Mondays are probably my favorites, just because I like Mike so much.
Yeah,
And his giant penis.
I assume.
that's what everybody says. There's all kinds of evidence out there to support it.
The blurry photographs like a Bigfoot.
That's it.
Well, I wanted to just go ahead and get this out of the way. Of course, my name's Dave. I'm your bespectacled host, and I'm not the biggest Mickey Mouse fan in the world. I've enjoyed a lot of Disney cartoons in my time. Probably in the mid '90s, early to mid '90s is like the prime for me. You know, the Aladdin era, Little Mermaid, Lion King, stuff like that. But as far as like their mascot goes, I've never been a huge Mickey Mouse fan. Always kind of, honestly, always kind of weirded me out a little bit.
I'm 100% with you.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
As am I.
Really?
Yeah, actually. Yep, never been to Disneyland World. Yeah, never been a huge Mickey fan myself. I was a Bugs Bunny kid.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to love Bugs. I was always freaked out as a kid. Like, when we went to Disney World, I was terrified because I never like people in costume. Like, and that's pretty much what Disney World is.
What are they hiding?
Exactly. And I feel like, what is Mickey Mouse hiding? Because he is just he's just way too squeaky clean. I mean, he's up to something.
Yeah, because I've Donald and Goofy, okay, cool. Chip and Dale, all right, yeah. But yeah, actually Mickey Mouse, I've never really enjoyed any Mickey Mouse cartoons. I wasn't, although I was thoroughly weirded out at a church I went to for a short time.
Disney church.
You're not that far off. One of the members, he had like a potluck at his house after
Disney
church
potluck.
one day. We went, you're not far off. We went over to their house, which is enormous. They're very rich, no kids. So like they have this enormous house and property. It's pretty amazing. So they're giving us a tour, and we go in one room, and it's a huge ass room. It's probably like, because my master bedroom in this house is the converted garage. So it's the biggest room in the house. So like take this room and add another half onto it. Just that room of their house, nothing but American Girl dolls. Like
Really?
filled to the brim with just pristine, perfect, creepy ass American Girl dolls. And the
that
wife
would creep me the fuck out.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not like super familiar with those. Are those like the 3 foot tall, like colonial style?
Incredibly expensive.
Yeah, right, okay.
Angela from The Office
From The
claims
Office,
she
right.
shops there for her clothes.
For clothes, right?
And the husband was like, "Yeah, this is what she loves, so what she collects. Let me show you what I collect."
All right.
And he shows us like it's sort of like a hidden room in his house. Like you can't really see the door in this one hallway.
Got to turn the clock hands to like 12:06, and it's like, all right, opens up.
And he leads us back. We go up this narrow staircase into this much smaller room.
Yeah.
But this room is absolutely every inch of space, ceiling, walls, floor, every inch is covered with Mickey Mouse memorabilia.
Mickey specifically.
Mickey Mouse.
No ducks.
No
ducks allowed.
No
ducks
goofs.
given.
Yeah. Just everything from the 20s to modern era Mickey Mouse stuff.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. That's probably a really
it's impressive, but
pricey collection.
he's like 50.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, if I were to see him nice guy, but visually, if I saw him on To Catch a Predator, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Checks out.
Yeah, that makes sense. But just
It's a great room to be in with a bunch of kids.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just like showing us his entire collection, his Mickey Mouse phones, and it's unbelievable the amount of stuff that he had. And then he owns one share of Disney that he had mounted like in front of this window, like blown up. So, but it was that like for someone who does not like Mickey Mouse, kind of creeped out by Mickey Mouse.
Sure.
It was fucking awful.
Yeah. Please let me go back to the American Doll room.
Yeah, it's like, it can't get much worse than this. A little bit.
Yeah, it got worse. We climbed the creepy
So do you think they role play? He dresses up as Mickey Mouse. She dresses up as American Doll girl.
Oh, I hope so.
I hope
and
so.
that's like their.
I hope she lays perfectly still. Like he just,
I'm going to slip in here.
all your promises.
That actually weirdly makes it more okay.
That's I'm more comfortable
I'm
now.
good. Yeah, I'm better with that.
Yeah, we don't kink shame.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm all about it. Like if that's what it takes for them to get there, that's fine. All
Mickey
of a
Mouse
sudden,
costume, but his nose is a dildo.
I've got another question for you guys. This is pretty important. Would you rather have a flying horse or a talking dog? This has nothing to do with the game or Mickey Mouse. it was the poll on the most recent Twitch stream. I'm just curious how you weigh in compared to the rest of the nation that was in that stream.
I would prefer a talking dog because I have a dog. His name is Gus, and he's like my best little friend. So if he could talk, that would be fucking awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna reserve my answer until Tyler's answered because he'll just copy what I say.
It's true. That's what I do. So, I mean, of course, the immediate thing is like, which one is going to be more profitable to you?
Right, of course.
Because that's the crux of it. Which one can I exploit for the most monetary gain? The talking dog, I mean, you don't know. I mean, if a dog could talk, doesn't mean it's not going to be an asshole. Like, it'd be just a shitty dog and be super annoying. But, like, flying horse, like, all right. You could do, like, stunt shows and shit with your flying horse. And yeah, I'm going to go flying horse.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know how to ride a horse?
Not a Pegasus.
Not a Pegasus. It's just a flying horse. It can fly however.
Okay.
Like, it'd be jet propelled, I guess. Do you know how to ride a horse?
I have ridden a horse.
Okay. Well, can you answer the question though?
I could probably ride a horse the same way I can drive stick.
Okay.
Like I know enough to manage it.
The horse is just grinding. Giddy up.
Like in a pinch, I can do it.
Sure. Okay. But you'd learn if you had a flying horse. You'd learn, I'm sure, to do all the tricks.
Yeah.
I went talking dog because I think that's a safer route.
I'm gonna go talking dog too.
You're right there. Yeah. All right.
I changed my mind. Talking dog.
It's fair.
Wait.
Back it up. I think that you'd actually make more money off a talking dog, and it would be more fun. Because, like, yeah, the dog might be an asshole, but I guess you could run into that situation with, like, the whole, like, singing frog deal. If the dog's an asshole and you take him to the TV station, he shuts up. Yeah, you kind of got a problem.
Or if he sounds like Gilbert Gottfried.
I would love that more.
But see, then you run into the problem. What if he sounds like James Earl Jones? What if he's like
that's great,
the most velvety, sexy dog voice? And
are
then
you worried?
Get so much like fetish porn with your talking dog.
Oh man, what if the dog could use the internet? That would be the worst. The nation actually went talking dog. 64% for talking dog.
64%. You guys have dogs?
Yeah, I've got a dog, and Tyler,
I has dog.
You has dog.
I has dog.
All right. Yeah,
I am
dog
cat person, but I has dog.
My dog hates getting his picture taken. I don't know how the fuck he knows what it is or whatever. But yeah, he'll be doing something sweet or like looking at you. As soon as you pull your fucking phone up and try to take a photo, looks away immediately. Like he could be like, you know, kind of laying next to you, just looking, you know, not really paying attention. And you're just playing on your phone, and you just move it a couple inches over to try to get that fucking photo, and instantly looks away or stops doing whatever he's doing. It's weird as shit.
He probably thinks you're trying to steal his soul.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think dogs pretty much believe that.
Yeah, I still fight that urge every time I get my picture taken. Like, all right, everything's okay. It's fine.
Definitely not going to get my soul stolen.
My soul's okay.
Nope. It's here. I'm good.
So, I mean, as we mentioned this week, we're talking about Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. We're keeping it castle themed. The last 2 episodes have been Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And this is essentially Castlevania.
Castle Cast, what we're doing
now.
now.
New podcast. Castle
Next
Cast.
episode is about Nathan Fillion's Castle.
Yeah, and then Eureka's Castle. And then, we got this.
I haven't been able to figure out how to unlock the inverted castle on this, though.
There is an inverted section in the game, which, like, totally... My problem with this game is, like, I kept drawing conclusions where it's like, oh, well, they got this from that game. They got this from Sonic. And as it turns out, it's like, when I was doing research after the fact, it's like, oh, this game was, like, pretty early. This game came out pretty early in the Sega Genesis life.
1990.
Yeah, which I think...
That's a copyright date anyways.
Which is like 1 full year, right, before Sonic the Hedgehog came out. So like this was like I'm okay. I'm trying to keep in mind when I talk about this game that this is pre-Sonic the Hedgehog. I feel like that makes a difference.
Yeah.
I feel like if this game came out post-Sonic, then we're dealing with a much worse game.
Yeah, because you know what the Genesis is capable of.
Right.
Yeah, I can understand that. So before we talk about that, do you hear that, Dave?
I do hear that. It sounds like a boxcar full of talking dogs. They're not too happy to be on the train, but they're on it anyway, and they're pulling into the station for a segment that we like to call Dave Reads from Wikipedia. Hopefully I've got the right link here. Okay, guys, Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse, is a 1990 platform game developed by Sega and released for the Sega Genesis. An 8-bit version of the game was later released for the Master System and the Game Gear. I haven't played either of those games, but I have seen the sprites from those games, and they don't look great. The game follows Mickey Mouse on a quest to save Minnie Mouse from the evil witch, Mizrabel. It was the first game in Sega's long-running Illusion video game series starring Mickey, and was also part of the second wave of games initially released for the Sega Genesis, which helps seal the console's reputation within the period until the release of Sonic the Hedgehog in 1991. You know what? I didn't really even know that the Illusion... I didn't know that was a series. Like, I've never played... This is like the only game in that series that I have played.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, I have World of Illusion, I believe is what it's called, which is the second one, or maybe there's one in between or something like that. But I had that one. I ended up picking this one up specifically for the group, but I haven't played the World one yet. I
was curious about that. That was a Genesis game as well.
Yeah,
okay.
And I want to say it's the second one on the Genesis, but like the third one in the series, maybe. I may be mistaken, but
yeah, this is one. This just went completely not. This was not on my radar at all. Like, I didn't even know that this. I knew this game existed because it was remade in 2013,
around the same time as DuckTales, I think.
Yeah, and came out on Steam,
yeah.
And it's like, I think I might own that, maybe.
Well, we talked about doing it at one point.
But I haven't played it, so I don't. Have you played? Have either of you guys played the remaster or the remake?
That's what I played instead of the original.
Okay,
because I figured we could
kind of compare and contrast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I have not played it at all. I haven't played any of them. Really didn't know anything about them either. Myself before this.
What do you want to talk about first? I guess the original probably make more sense.
Yeah, let's talk about the original.
Okay.
The story is pretty much Mickey and Minnie are spinning around.
Generic 90s garbage.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's like the instruction manual has a little bit more information than the game does. At least the game gives you a story. I mean, at least there's that. It's not much of a story, but yeah, Minnie gets kidnapped, and Mickey goes to the Castle of Illusion to save her.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. Other than
Mizrabel is going to steal her youth.
Yeah, who is Mizrabel?
Mickey's like, I don't want to fuck no old bitch mouse.
No. Is Mizrabel is Mizrabel a character that exists outside of this game or this series?
I've seen her in other stuff. She looks familiar.
Because to me, she looked like in witch form, she looked like the evil queen from Snow White when she turns into a witch and gives Snow White the poison apple. But then in her other form, she looks like Maleficent from Cinderella. Like when you fight her as the final boss. So,
yeah. Well, I told my wife that they based this game on her life story, so she might be able to get in there with a lawsuit. But
yeah,
she liked that, of course.
I mean, I don't know if I didn't know if that I didn't know if the evil witch maybe had the name Mizrabel, and I just don't know because I'm not the biggest Disney fan in the world. But it kind of to me as just a topical Disney guy, it kind of was hard for me to track.
Yeah, I'm trying to find stuff better online, but I don't know how to spell Mizrabel. So
it's Mizrabl. And then you meet, essentially, maybe you guys can clear something up for me because I got confused. The story confused me a little bit, which is sad because I honestly think this is a game for children. I should be able to follow it. But when Mickey is about to enter the castle, he is stopped by a sage-like character. In the Disney universe, they have Goofy is kind of like a dog man. He's greeted by a dog man in a purple robe, giving him hints and letting him know to be careful, and that he needs to collect 7 of the gems, of the rainbow gems, to find Minnie before Mizrabel switches places with her. So I've never seen that character in a game before or in a cartoon. So my immediate thought was, well, that's probably the final boss or some kind of incarnation of the final boss. And as it turns out, at the end of the game, that character shows up again, but I'm not exactly sure why. He's in a black robe this time, and I'm not sure if it's because he was Mizrabel or if he just showed up when you defeat Mizrabel, and then he takes you on a broom and flies you away to safety.
Well, because Mizrabel is exclusive to Mickey Mouse video games.
Okay.
And then she comes back in Epic Mickey.
I wanted to play
Tower
Epic
of
Mickey,
Illusion.
but I missed that. Is she in like is she in the Keyblade series? As I like to call it.
Kingdom Hearts.
Thank you.
It doesn't list that she is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another series I never got into, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I
I
missed
know
that
people
one too.
love it, but
I
I know.
yeah,
appreciate
I'm not
the
a huge
concept.
Disney guy, so
Yeah, I'm not either. And it always like kind of freaked me out where it's like seeing like Goofy next to like Final Fantasy characters.
Setzer.
Yeah, it's always just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this.
No, it's just Goofy
very
fighting
jarring.
Sephiroth.
Right? What's weird about that?
As voiced by Lance Bass.
I know. That's actually probably the best part because it's like out of like all of the boy band dudes, Lance Bass is probably the best one.
Joy Fatone.
Yeah, I take it back. He's the best one. He is the best one.
Chris Kirkpatrick, right out.
Yeah,
No way.
No way.
No way.
Get out. Okay, so no one here is a huge Disney fan.
No.
When I was a kid, the only Mickey Mouse game I played was Mickey Mousecapades for the NES.
Yep.
And that game is unbeatable,
Hard
right?
as shit.
Like it's
Those
verifiable.
fucking animated brooms on that boat at the fucking start. Like, I don't even know. I think I ever got it past that.
Minnie's in the game for whatever reason. I don't think she actually does anything except for take damage, right?
yeah, and you can lose her, right?
Yes. Yeah. Maybe
Yeah,
I need
she
to
gets
revisit.
kidnapped.
Yeah, we should probably check that out at some point.
I've actually, not to interrupt, but
No, you're
right
good.
behind me, I actually have Mickey Mousecapade starring James Rolfe, AVGN, an unreleased, because there was never an episode or anything, like storyboard art that's all like colored in and filled in and everything like that.
That is awesome, man. It makes me feel really bad because it's like they have quality control.
Yeah.
Like maybe
Yeah.
we shouldn't release that. We don't do that.
No. I was like, well, a bad one's just out there. Oh, well.
Right? An unreleased episode for us is essentially just one we accidentally deleted.
Or one we sit on and be like, we'll release this one when we, fuck something up
Right,
or something
exactly.
happens.
Yeah.
When someone shoots up my stepdaughter's high school, then we'll play
Then
this
we'll play
one.
this one. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
So what did you find this game to be very difficult?
I thought that it was, at first, I thought it was. However, it's not at all. It comes down to just learning that Mickey runs at the pace of a snail.
He's so slow.
And as soon as you get that down, the game becomes easy. There's no, he goes from, standing still to full sprint in 0.2 seconds, but his full sprint is a leisurely walk. In the manual, it refers it to running, and I'm like, well, how the hell do you make him actually run? And, oh, yeah, this is just his full speed. So it's kind of obnoxious, but I think that's probably the biggest thing that makes it difficult. But overall, no, I don't think it's very difficult when you learn that.
I knocked it out in one sitting. It took about 3 hours, and there was some fucking around in there too. And one time, when I died, you have continues in the game if you're playing on normal difficulty. And I didn't realize that there's like a hidden timer on the continues screen. So I was streaming it. And I was talking to chat, and then it was like just all of a sudden I'm taking a break because it's like on the Mickey's like dazed, looking drunk, and there's a sign on the left that says continue and a sign on the right that says new game because yeah, we want to do that for sure. And it's one of those where it's like I was just talking, and then all of a sudden the game just reloaded to the Sega logo, and it's like I guess I have to start over again,
Ugh.
and I did.
I watched you stream this for a little while, and it
Yeah.
just looked torturous. The fucking pace that Mickey goes.
He's so slow.
It's like, is there so much on the screen he's playing with slowdown? Like,
right.
what the fuck?
No, that's just how Mickey do. He can go faster because it's like there are sections in the game where it's like there are ramps, and it's like he can run down a ramp really super fast, and it like gives you a moment where it's like, man, it'd be really cool if I could play the whole game at this speed.
Man, because watching you play it, I had the same feeling as playing Final Fantasy VI whenever you have to unequip the sprint shoes for whatever reason. And when you go back to that pace, it's like, oh my
This is the
God.
worst.
So yeah, it was just like, I was just in awe that you kept going because man, it did not look fun.
Okay, so real talk, not to like divert from Mickey Mouse for too long, but you talking about the sprint shoes. I want your real opinion on this. How do you feel about in remakes of Final Fantasy VI, a run button being included?
Oh yeah, no, I love it.
You love it.
And I like this. You can still get the sprint shoes, and then you just go really fucking
fast. Okay.
I think that's way better.
All right. Well, that was my question. If you felt like it diminished the sprint shoes, because in the remakes, when you buy the sprint shoes and use them, it is impossible to play that game.
Like you're
for
so
me.
fast, which I like. Which is like you should have just been able to press A and move that fast anyway.
Sure.
So yeah, no. I was happy, so I didn't have to waste a slot.
Sure. Yeah.
Basically
that's true.
a vanity slot because you just don't like going slow.
Yeah, that's true. I always had sprint shoes. I mean, you gotta.
Yep.
Otherwise,
Yep.
it's painful. Like very much like this game, Castle of Illusion. I also thought that Mickey was like super floaty. Like really floaty. I was able to adjust to it pretty quickly, but like in the very beginning, like the combination of him being so slow and his jumps, like, I mean, he hovers like at the apex of his jump for like a second at least before he lands. I
It's
thought
like
it was-
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Michael Jordan, Mickey Mouse, same person.
Same initials.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
checks out. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I thought that the game, you can kill enemies in this game, but you have to do, instead of just jumping on an enemy like Mario style, you have to hold down the
You have to
down
press the
direction.
exposure butt button.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a butt smash.
Yep.
Essentially, you butt smash all the enemies, which I would like to go on the record and say that it looks a little strange when you're doing it like on mushroom enemies because there's a lot of them. You're just slamming your butt into penis-shaped objects
Boy, howdy.
all the time.
And then they disappear.
Yes, right. Yeah, we'll just who knows where they go? Who knows?
So you were a down button presser to do that?
I was a down button presser. Is there another way to do it?
Yeah, after you hit the jump button, if you hit the jump button again while in the air, he does it.
Oh my
And that's
God.
like a million times easier.
Yeah, that sounds a million times easier.
Because then you can control, going side to side. You can control yourself in the air while attacking. So you got like way better control over Mickey.
Well, to be perfectly honest, what I would do sometimes is when I would jump, I was so scared that I wasn't going to butt slam the enemy because if you don't do it, if you don't expose your butt, you're going to take a hit. Mickey's going to get hurt.
And his ass is tougher than the soles of his shoes.
Right.
So yeah.
And the souls of his enemies, as clearly shown.
Which only makes me imagine that Mickey's shoes only look like shoes. Those are just his feet.
Right? Yeah, pretty much. It's just Mickey's actually 2,000 years old, and his foot has just formed so many calluses that he's decided to polish them.
There you go. Perfect.
But it was one of those things where it's like I would jump, and I was so scared that I was gonna die when I hit an enemy that I would sometimes hold down and the jump button because I'm like, I'm not 100% sure how this works.
Yeah, I would just load up the first level, just screw around with just, for 5 minutes and see how different the game is. I would assume just because it makes it so much easier, like unbelievably easy. Because then you can just bounce on multiple enemies going forward with like fairly good precision because he floats so slow that, you have plenty of time to get wherever you're trying to go in the air.
I'll try it. I'll try it on my hard run. I'm tempted. I'm actually tempted to play this game on hard.
So am I, actually.
Oh, okay, good. Then I don't feel so weird because it's like today and here's my reasoning. I really like the retroachievements.org. I like all the achievements they have for the game. And it's like, I have 2 more achievements to unlock. And one of those is to beat the game on hard, and the other one is a score challenge. And it's like, well, I feel like I could beat this game on hard if I really tried, and I'd like to see how different the game is.
Yeah, for sure. All it says in the manual is that you just start with 1 less power. So, instead of starting with 3 hits, you start with 2.
And I've also heard that you don't have any continues. I'm not sure if that's true. I haven't confirmed that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what the score challenge number is? How much you actually have to score to get that achievement?
I can look it up because I don't remember off the top of my head. But I feel like it was one of those where it was like, I didn't get it. I felt like when I looked at it, I was like, I'm not sure if I could get that without getting like all of the diamonds in the game, because that's another thing. You get, I assume
It's like Mario 64 with stars.
Yeah, you collect the diamonds and you get points for those. And I don't know how the scoring works. Like I didn't pay enough attention to the score to figure out if like killing enemies gives you more points than collecting diamonds or vice versa.
Yeah, so the way my basic understanding of it, because I did pay attention a little bit, basically your first 40,000 points, you get an extra life or an extra try. They call them tries in this game.
Right.
Then after that first 40,000, every 50,000 points after that is where you get an additional try. And you get to collect points from the diamonds, the bags that actually have the projectiles in it. I think those give you 1,000 points. And then the enemies all give you points, but it's fairly low overall, like 200 or something like that. So, as you're going along, you just kind of kill most of the enemies because they're fairly easy to do anyways, collect all the stuff, and then just rack up, the amount of tries that you get.
I know I got there, as far as the achievements go, there are 3 score achievements, and I got 2 out of the 3 without trying.
Okay.
So it's kind of one of those where it's like, I figure if I actually try, then I might be able to do it.
Yeah. The only reason I was curious is because my buddy Brian was over last night, and we were playing the game. It was his first time playing it as well, and I let him play it first just to kind of get used to the controls, and we're passing it back and forth. But we ended up beating the game with 301,000 points, something like that. So I was just curious what the threshold was. And we weren't trying to get points, but we didn't use any continues. I think we only died 3 times. Maybe total.
Oh, then you can totally.
This was on normal.
You got it then, because the highest one on retroachievements.org is 250,000. So you unlocked that one, and I think you could unlock the hard mode difficulty too. Because I mean, if you didn't die, like if you didn't use any continues, I mean, really the only thing you'd be working against is having 1 less health to begin with.
Which isn't bad because going through the game, we explored a fair bit. I was drinking scotch, he was drinking whiskey.
Nice.
And so we were just like exploring the levels a little bit and kind of just checking it out just for the hell of it. And we found a lot of areas where you're able to get extra power so we were finishing levels all the time with full, all 5 hits available to us and finding extra ones along the way. So we would have probably had, 7 or 8 by the end of any single level. So I think hard would totally be doable.
Yeah, you guys were doing better than me when I was sober, because it did take me 3 tries to get through. Like I got through on the 3rd try. I do blame the first one. I should probably scratch that one because I did not continue in time. But I mean, still, I feel like it's a game that's very much aimed for children, which makes sense because it's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
And I do want to take that into consideration when I'm thinking about whether or not this is a good game. But at the same time, I kind of feel like in 1990, like most games were aimed at children, and those games weren't all easy. I feel like this is a game that I, even as a kid, would have probably beaten on a rental weekend.
Sure. Well, I honestly think once you go back to using the jump button and then holding that again for your attack, I think that's going to be a game changer for you.
Yeah, I'm going to try it.
It's going to make it even way easier than it already was.
Good. I can knock these 2 achievements out real fast.
Yep.
I'm glad that you mentioned the bags that you pick up because there are a few power-ups in the game, and one of them kind of unlocks a mechanic. As Mickey, you can not only kill things with your butt, but you can also throw projectiles at enemies. Like in the Enchanted Forest level, you get apples, and in some of the other levels, I think like in the study, for example, I believe you get marbles, and later on in the castle, you get you just throw flames because I guess just because.
Because fuck Nintendo, that's why.
Because pretty much. And I'm glad that you said that because like a lot of these, it's weird because it's hard to play a platformer and not compare it to Mario. Like Mario, I know I've said this on the show before, but it's like Super Mario Brothers, OG Super Mario Brothers is like my baseline for which I compare all platforming games to.
Sure.
So it's tough to like play this game and like not draw like compare and contrast to Super Mario Brothers.
It's tough to play any 16-bit platformer compared to original Mario just because I feel like 8-bit platformers are so much faster and tighter than the majority of 16-bit platformers. So
Yeah,
we've
the
talked
sprites are
about
usually
that.
larger.
They're bigger, they're slower. Like, yeah, I mean, I generally don't like 16-bit platformers.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I think this game easily could have doubled his top speed. And I mean, even doubling his top speed would still be fucking slow. I mean, that would still be irritatingly
Yeah.
slow, but it would at least would have been reasonable and compared to the snail's pace that he, his run, quote unquote, run is
Yeah,
in this
or
game.
at least give me a run button, because it's like the game functions on essentially, it's a 2-button game. One button to jump and then another button to throw a projectile. The Genesis has at least 3 face buttons. So it's like, just, I don't know, man, just make one of those run.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he moves it like maybe even 50% faster. Like even that would be
Sure.
helpful.
Yeah, and get that Genesis 6 button and just have run 1, run 2, and run 3.
Right? Yeah. But I guess they did that. I assume they did that configuration because this was also a Game Gear game and a Master System game. And I guess they didn't want to change the mechanics up too drastically.
Well, the thing with that is that this game actually came out first. Then the Master System and the Game Gear game, which were actually identical, came out after the fact.
Oh.
So those came out. I don't know the exact time frame, but it was definitely after. So the release goes, the Genesis game, the Master System, Game Gear game, and then obviously the remake way later on.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, one of the guys in the Retro Gaming Monthly group actually put a post. I pinned it in the announcement section, but it was kind of neat because he put a picture of basically the 3 games side by side, a similar enemy, one of the clowns, and the evolution of it. And I believe he's the one who pointed out that, oh yeah, it actually goes in the opposite direction, but he recommended starting with the 8-bit, then going to 16 and beyond. So there's really no excuse for this game not to have a run button or a mechanic that actually makes him run a little bit faster.
Are you guys planning on playing the 8-bit version?
I would like to. I really want to. I was looking up the price on it for the Master System, and I have a Master System hooked up and everything. However, the game's like extremely expensive, way more than I want to spend on a Master System game to try out for the novelty behind it. So I actually ended up just getting present from your group and from Sean Berry. He was my Secret Santa. He actually got me a RetroPie. And he got me a RetroPie and a ton of other stuff. Like this dude balled out. Sean Berry is the man. And
I saw the photo you posted. There's a lot of shit you got,
crazy,
man.
crazy. I own like 100 Nintendo Powers. Somehow he got me one Nintendo Power I didn't have.
Nice.
And I mean, this dude went all out. But yeah, I think that I'm gonna end up trying it on that system.
Cool.
That'll probably be the first one I play on it.
I'm curious to hear
Because
what
I
you
am
think about it.
interested to see. Yeah, I'm interested to see what it's like.
Uh-huh. And I mean, shout out to Sean Berry for Blumpkin Bear for organizing the whole Secret Santa too,
damn
because
right.
that's a thing that we had never done before. And he asked, he was like, "Do you guys do a Secret Santa?" I was like, "No, but
Nope.
people have asked for it before. Neither one of us want to organize that shit."
And it went well, except for we only had one no-show, so that's pretty good.
Which
Everybody participated.
actually turned out to be a show, so it all worked out because
okay.
it was just late.
Oh, okay.
And then everyone else sent gifts to, I could say it was Chandra, who she wasn't a no-show. She was the she was on the bad end of that. She was the gift receiver, and a few people were worried that she wasn't going to get anything, so she got a bunch of stuff
Okay,
from a lot
awesome.
of people, which is
And,
cool.
and even knowing that, I still got her 2 things, which is all packaged and ready to be shipped tomorrow when I wake up. So I'm still sending it because fuck it, I'm not returning it. It's cool. Sure,
Yeah,
like it.
I hear you. What did you guys think about the level design? And I guess more than that, like, what did you think about like the levels themselves? Like, for example, when Mickey goes into the castle, he starts opening doors, Mario 64 style. Mario 64 clearly stole it from this game. He opens doors and instead of paintings, and he walks through and will play through whatever level that door connects to. And it's like, for example, like the first level is the Enchanted Forest, where everything is surprise, like a forest theme.
That is also enchanted.
As it turns out.
So I guess the name was appropriate.
But it could be an illusion.
Oh,
Could be a whole nother school of
That's a whole
magic.
other school. It's not evocation. It's just not just blowing up.
Right. I mean, did you guys like that? I mean, I did. I felt like at least there was this. I felt like the game, I thought it looked good for a 1990 Sega Genesis game.
Yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed this, the level design. I thought that the art was absolutely beautiful from level to level. So the Enchanted Forest, I mean, it's nothing special, but it really does give you the introduction to how the mechanics work and how the enemies work, and little secrets in easy to find secret area with some extra gems and an extra power hit and all that. And then just going forward from there, my favorite level is probably the second one, which is the Toyland.
Oh man!
Because that. No, you didn't like it?
That robot clown at the end, the robot clown boss was just like, it took me a moment because it's like, and another reason I kind of want to play through is like the number of jumps, like his pattern. I'm curious how much that's affected by RNG because it's one of those where it's like, I swear, man, the first time I fought him, he would take 2 bounces and then do his like, what do you call it, like the extendo boxing glove punch.
Yeah.
And then like the next time I felt like it was 3 times, and it was like one of those things where it's just like, am I just not getting this pattern or what?
So that's interesting because I didn't have that problem, and I got through that level a couple times. It seems that his first jump is 2 and then the rest are 3. Now, whether that's just my personal, but all I ended up doing anyways was as he would jump, after the first jump was completed and he'd land, I just duck anyways. And then it happened to be that he would just always do it on the third one, after the doing it 2 times the first one. The guy that I thought was a really pain in the ass was the final boss, that gremlin in the third stage, the storm. So my buddy Brian, we were screwing around with it. Well, he was counting how many times he actually jumps before he does like his little, I don't even know what you would call it, his little self-extension.
Yeah, he like
cover up half the platform area.
Sure.
But he would go, and that would go anywhere from 2 to 4 jumps before he would do it. And there was no consistency to that whatsoever.
When I was fighting that boss, Rhythm Master Paul Korn clued me in. He's like, why don't you throw something at it? And I was like, oh, that's a good, because I was trying to jump on this guy. And what I discovered is, because like, it's a weird boss. It's like essentially a stone totem pole, but instead of like carvings of like eagles and bears and shit on it, it really looks like this game probably created the minions because it's like stone depictions of the minions, like one on top of the other. And it's like the top would pop off and a gremlin would hop out. And then, like Stephen Michael said, pretty much just like bionic man himself, like across the screen. And if he hits you, you take one life off of one hit off of your HP. And it's like, what I discovered was like, after Paul told me that, I was like, well, if I just chill next to the totem pole, like really close, and just time the throw for when he lands, then I can at least take care of him that way. And every time you kill one of the gremlins, one of the stone totem pieces kind of like just disappears until there's none there, and then you beat the boss.
Yeah. I did not have luck with the projectiles. I never got close to the totem. I was just trying to hit him when he would land, but the problem is Mickey throws so slow, painfully slow. I didn't get the timing down. What we found to work easiest was that as he would bounce, you kind of knew if you moved over to like 3/4 of the left side of the screen, the way he would bounce, you could then jump and he would just jump right into your ass.
Oh, really?
Sounds weird to say.
Jump right into my ass.
I'm going to dress up like an American doll, and you are going to jump into my ass.
See, you give him your ass pennies. So then you have all the power.
Man, an ass pennies call out. That's a good one.
Yeah, Mickey is a power bottom. That's for sure.
Yeah, right. Which I don't know what that makes.
He's a real Mitchell.
I feel bad because
Shout out Nerdy Thursday.
Yeah, please. Everyone listening to this, I'm sure listens to Nerdy Thursday already. But if you don't, listen to Nerdy Thursday.
Since I've started making that joke, and it's a joke, Mitch has not spoken to me at all. I asked Sean, does he know? Oh, yeah, he knows.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah.
Mitch is a good fucking dude, and it would take a lot more than that to hurt his feelings, I think. Yeah.
I feel bad because we didn't mention the first boss that you fight in the Enchanted Forest, which is generic store brand Wispy Woods. You get to a giant tree, very much Kirby style, and the tree's face comes out, and it's a log essentially that rolls at you. And then whenever it like comes back and hits the tree, giant acorns fall out of the tree. And that's pretty much it. It's a very easy fight.
If you can say anything interesting about this boss, one thing that my buddy Brian and I learned was that if you actually hit him with projectiles, it takes several more hits than it does if you hit him with your ass.
Really?
At least that was our experience when we were trying to count it. Unless we were completely off, it appeared as though the projectiles actually does less damage to the boss than if you just bounce on them.
To be honest with you, more often than not, there were times in the game where I forgot that you could throw things because it's one of those things where it's just like, I don't know, I just get used to slamming things with my ass, and it's just like, I forget that I have apples to throw.
Plus it feels good, so it's like, why change it?
Yeah, right, exactly. And then one of the other levels is a gigantic study.
Yeah, the library.
The library, where you climb into gigantic milk bottles.
Yep.
I don't know why. It doesn't really make sense why there are giant milk bottles in the giant library. You'd think you'd go into books or something, Gumby style. But there's just random milk bottles just lying about that you go climbing into. And then it leads you to like a candy land.
Yeah, the manual, I'm holding the manual right now. It makes it sound very intriguing.
What does the manual say about it?
It says, I'll just read the last little section here under the library, but it says, what's inside the milk bottle? Perhaps another world? Step in and have a look. It's like, oh, damn. All right. Well, let's do it.
Things are getting creepy in the milk bottle, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I thought that this level was actually probably the most difficult one because I forgot that this game has swinging mechanics. Mickey can jump on like a vine or a rope and he'll swing. And while he's swinging, he's pretty much invincible. Any enemies that come up to him, he'll instantly destroy. I forgot that. So there is a segment in the game where it's like you have to do 3 swings in a row. You're swinging off of like light switches kind of deal. What do you call those dangly light switches? You know, the chains. Those
pull cords.
Yeah, the pull cords. Thank you. And it's like one of those where it's like I'm swinging while toy planes are flying at me. And it's like I don't want to hit those planes. So I'm constantly dropping off of the pull cord so that I don't get hit. And then I fucked up and a plane hit me and I destroyed it. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm invincible while I do this.
That section took me about a half hour the first time I got to it.
Oh, that makes me feel a lot better.
Oh, it was pathetic. I was like trying to swing and then jump off the rope to hit him with the ass to get to the and it fucking none of it worked.
No. Okay, good.
Until it took me a half hour though, until I randomly just ran into one accidentally and went, oh, fuck. Oh, this is a lot. And then just went right across.
Excellent. We had very similar experiences then.
Yeah. That section took way too long. And that's about a 5-second section.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, once you realize what you're supposed to do. And then the boss for that was Giant Pink Dragon?
Yeah, was it that Pete?
Yeah, it kind of looked like Pete.
Looks like Pete's pink head on what is the name? What's the Chinese food dragon? On like a food dragon body?
I thought it kind of looked like, and I can't remember who it was, someone in chat was like, it looks like Mean Madam Mim from The Sword and the Stone, which is, that's one of my jams as a kid. I know we've talked about it on the show.
Fuck yeah.
When Merlin and Arthur turn into squirrels, like that's
break my heart.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best. It's even better than when they turn into fish. I thought that was like, honestly, like if you were to tell me what are the mechanics of that fight, my answer would be a dragon pokes its head out of the water, milk. I don't know. And then you butt slam it.
Skim milk,
yes. And then that's it. I have no idea what the dragon does. Like I don't even know how it harms you because every time it would poke its head out, I'd just slam it with my butt and then he's done. Or she.
Yep, if you touch any part of it except for its head with your ass, you get damaged.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Yep. I did get hit on that boss several times because I'm not as good.
Well, I'm a head guy, so I was just going for the head every time. And the last level is the castle proper, which throughout this entire game, this game like really felt like a Castlevania game. Like it, or I shouldn't say that. It felt heavily inspired by Castlevania.
Sure.
Because I mean, there is in the castle segment, there is very much a clock tower where you do jump from pendulum to pendulum. And there are also essentially those planes I talked about earlier that are in the library are on like the same kind of like sine wave as the Medusa heads. But this level in particular has like, I mean, it is a castle. So you are destroying sconces on the walls to get your fireballs. You're avoiding armored knights who are throwing weapons that are they feel very much like the cross from Castlevania. So like this was kind of one of those where it like sealed the deal where it's like, yeah, man, I feel like they took a whole bunch from Castlevania. And at that point I was like thinking to myself, is that why Mickey moves so slow? Like, is that why they made that decision? Because it's like Simon moves slow in Castlevania and Trevor moves slow in Castlevania 3, where they just was Sega just like, well,
Mickey
this
Belmont
is kind of what we're going for. Yeah, Mickey Belmont.
Interesting. I mean, it's still a bad decision, but it makes sense.
Yes, I agree. I want to see the ROM hack. I want to see the Castle of Illusion ROM hack.
Where he actually moves at a reasonable pace.
Yes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the castle. I didn't think it was too bad. The one part where you have to get up on the gears and do a little bit of precise platforming while the gears are moving. So you move painfully slow, but the gears move kind of fast sometimes. And then you've got to like readjust to the platforming to get Mickey up and around. And then if you fall off, the good thing is, you may fall down 3 levels, but you don't take any damage. You just, as long as you don't hit an enemy.
I'd almost rather take damage because it's one of those when I would fall and it was just like, oh, God damn it. I have to like go all the way back up there at this speed. And it's like, meanwhile, I'm being peppered by bats. Castlevania again. They're bats with
a good bat peppering.
Yeah, I mean you gotta love a good bat peppering. The bats.
Oh, and the bats change fucking mechanics in that section.
Right.
The whole section before this game, right? Bats, they'll be like hanging, and then they'll just be a straight line. Very predictable, very easy. Now these assholes will fucking change direction on you,
right?
And completely random, no way to tell what their actual pattern's going to be. And that fucked me over several times during the platforming. And then there's some gears that are on like the left side of the screen, so you're like climbing up, and then they appear 2 pixels away from you, spawn out of nowhere. It was just like, what a pain in the ass.
It was the worst segment in the game, I think. And it's like,
yeah, for sure.
Like to build on to the bats. I mean, like now all of a sudden they have variable speed too, because it's like some of the bats would go slower than other ones. So it was one of those where it's like, okay, I just have to memorize which bats go fast and which bats go slow. And they all have, weirdly, they all have Pete's face on it. Like they all have Pete's face, but it's like if Pete worked at Chippendales because he's got this like.
Each of these bats are good for 1 pump. There we go.
Yep, look like Bluto.
Yeah, so I have no idea. I mean, I feel like that was a weird decision. I feel like maybe if one bat had Pete's face, it'd be different, but all of them do. It really raises a question like, is Pete fucking bats? Like, what is...
Yeah, man.
Yeah, okay, that's the canon.
Yeah.
It's got a hole, right?
There aren't any other good cats for him to fuck because Pete's a cat, right?
I guess Pizza Cat? It really sounds like Pizza Cat.
Pizza Cat.
Samurai Pizza Cat.
Delicious.
And then another part of this game in this level where I feel like there's a super cheap death. There is this goo that you have to take like a leap of faith. And there are several leaps of faith in this game that I really don't like that. I think that's like poor design. But there's only, I feel like, one of them that like really fucks you up. And there's this goo in the castle level where if you touch it, you instantly die. And there's like a falling platform, and it's like if you don't know that there's goo at the bottom of this falling platform, you're gonna die. And it's like you have to not only know that there's goo at the bottom, but you have to know like which way to go off the platform. Like, do you jump left or right? Exactly, because if you jump the wrong way, you're falling into the goo, which I assume is the same stuff from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which absolutely annihilates tunes.
Yes.
That's it.
The dip.
The dip. Thank you.
Yeah, my cheap section was just before that part where there's like that little ramp so you can actually run down it. But so as you're running down it, there's goo right at the bottom and you have to jump over. But it's the only time Mickey moves fast at all.
Right.
So I was just like, oh yeah, just run down it, no big deal. Straight into it. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
damn
because you're
it.
not used to it. The same shit happened to me too. And it's like, what's crazy frustrating about games like this is where it's like, honestly, the first time I encountered that ramp, I did it fine because it was just like a reflex.
Okay.
But it's like every time after that, I'm like overthinking it because it's like, okay, I know this ramp is coming up and I know I got to nail this jump or I'm going to die immediately. And it's just like, after that, it was just like death after death after death.
Yeah, that's so funny because that section screwed me over with the running. But when I went to the platform and as it was dropping, I knew that there was going to be that shit at the bottom of it. And I assumed because of the way the castle was that I was going to have to jump left.
That it was going to turn
left. I just luckily ended up hitting that section without an issue.
That's smart, man. Because like that probably ate up the most time in my run. I think the speed run on this game is like just a bit over 17 minutes.
Wow.
I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but it's like it's believable, you know. And I didn't watch any speed runs, but it's like it's not a long game, and I feel like if you know everything about it, it's really only. I mean, there are 7 of the rainbow gems that you have to collect, but I mean, seriously, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 levels. So it's kind of one of those. I feel like you could burn through pretty quick.
Yeah, I love watching speedruns. I never really attempted any myself other than like the original Super Mario Bros. But this game, actually, I could see myself giving it a shot because it's just easy enough and would require just enough skill to be interesting where it would be satisfying to get through it without getting hit or out losing a life. Just see how fast you could do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where it does seem doable, but I don't know if I know, like 17 minutes, I feel like that is a commitment.
Oh, sure.
I thought the game, for a Genesis game, which I always give the Sega Genesis shit for its sound, but for the most part, I thought this game sounded pretty good. I feel like some of the songs were clunkers, like the Storm level is 100% not the theme to Indiana Jones. It's one of those where it's like, we changed a few notes, but you know what we're going for.
It's like Conan O'Brien, like, what copyrighted song are we almost playing?
Right, exactly. And then there's later on, like, it kind of like, there's one track, I think in somewhere in the castle, where it kind of gets into that really like metallic sound that I kind of associate with the Sega Genesis. But for the most part, I mean, I thought they did a really good job. I think a lot of like the music, like the boss music, I think is like, I believe the kids call it a certified banger.
Yes, quite.
For certain. Yeah, the music to me, it was fine across the board. There's nothing too memorable really that sticks out in my head, but it was enjoyable, you know, as we were going through it. The big thing for me is just the graphics. I thought that those were awesome, and I don't believe the music holds up to that kind of standard of art.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think like the art is really nice because it's like there are several there are segments where Mickey is run over by something, like in the Enchanted Forest, he's run over by a huge apple. And they take the time to like actually make individual sprites for when he is smashed, like as opposed to like just hit by an enemy, because he like kind of gets like flat and kind of like waves through the air like a feather falling or something like that. And I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah. And he's got an idle animation, which is nice. And I mean, it's kind of one of those where he's doing the Cuphead thing where he's just swinging. He's like rocking on his feet, swinging his hips. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I thought that was nice. I could tell that they cared enough to put some thought into the art and the sound. I just wish the game played better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this definitely isn't like a quick cash grab game. This was, I think, some care really did go into it as well.
So, Tyler, tell me about the remake, because I have not played it. Does it sound anything like what we've talked about?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Because, like, the remake's 2.5D, is that right? It's kind of like...
It has its 3D moments.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, I would say that the 3D remake, 2D, 3D, the remake, which I would really call more of a re-envisioning of this game, is pretty fucking great.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising to hear.
If you in any way enjoyed the Genesis version, you will fucking love this version.
So what do you like so much about it?
Well, Mickey he's still a little slow, but he's sped up to an acceptable pace.
Okay, that's already you're checking a box. Make Mickey faster. Check.
The platforming is very solid. Like I enjoyed every bit of it. It plays because the gems you get in every level unlock doors as you progress. The animation and the music remind me a lot of Fable.
Really?
As odd as that might sound.
Really? I love the music of Fable.
The music especially, but it felt like you were in like some kind of Fable verse, to be perfectly honest.
Do you know if they are like the same tracks from the Genesis version that are redone?
I do not.
Okay. All right. I'm curious about that.
But I mean, because it's done like DuckTales, I feel like that is a remake of the DuckTales NES game. The Castle of Illusion is a re-envisioning where they take all of the elements and add enough new and cool stuff that it is a different game in the same spirit of the original Castle of Illusion.
Okay.
Because it does lots of perspective switches to where you'll go where you're first person or third person facing, running from things and evading things, and then going the other way for different levels where these cards build up in the Toyland level, and it's all very well done and beautiful.
Is it a long game?
About 3 hours.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I saw a speed run in 35 minutes.
It sounds like I need to check it out.
If you in any way enjoyed this game, it's definitely worth checking out. It's very, very good.
Cool. Do you is Miserable and everything, is the story the same?
Everything's the story is the exact same, just the levels play out a little differently.
Can you explain the ending to me?
Well, I believe because you get the 5 crystals to form like a rainbow that makes a bridge over to where you fight Miserable, who has already siphoned some of Minnie's youth away, so she's youthful when you fight her. Which that fight was a little more different than the other fights in the game that have more of a 2D element, except for the clown, the Jack in the Box, because that'll shift to sort of an overhead-ish view to where it is spinning all over the place and you're jumping and evading it. And,
I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that section.
Yeah, and then whenever it actually comes out of its box, then it switches back to 2D.
I gotcha.
So they do a lot of stuff like that. And it's really well done.
They do a good job with it because it sounds like that could be really disorienting.
Because there's a scene where you are running from a giant apple a la Indiana Jones coming down, and then the fight with the tree is very interesting because it's not completely 2D. Because he will go up and go into the background slightly whenever he rolls past you and forward. It's very well done.
Cool. I'll check it out. I might own it. I hope that I do.
I bet you do, because we talked about doing this years
a long
ago.
time ago. But sometimes when we talk about doing it, I'm like, well, I'll just wait until we're actually going to do it, and then I will buy it. Because otherwise,
because that's the only reason I own it.
I am totally in this state of I've been doing a really good job this year where it's if I'm not going to play a game immediately, I'm not fucking buying it. It's I don't care if it's on sale, because that's always what gets me, a Steam sale or something, where it's well, I can pick this up for $2. I'm not really saving any money if I never fucking play that game.
Yeah. Yep. No, totally. But I mean, you get once you beat Miserable and get Minnie's youth and free her, and to my knowledge, that's just where it goes.
Does that cloaked figure show up or anything? Is he even in the game? Do you recall?
I don't remember.
Okay. I'm just curious, what role he plays, because I mean, when you
not the Shadow Mickey, it's not who you're talking about.
No, I don't even know about a Shadow Mickey.
See, the Shadow Mickey is he kicks you into the bottles in the library,
the milk bottles.
Because there's a Shadow Mickey who's playing pranks on you that tricks you into going into all these different places in the library.
Do you eventually fight him or anything?
No. Okay. So I don't really know what was going on. He was not a new boss. If he's an optional boss, I don't know about him.
Yeah,
but
he's the ruby weapon of of Mickey Mouse Castle Illusion. Yeah, interesting. I'll have to check it out.
So I completely encourage anybody if you enjoy this game, it's worth it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to pick it up and give it a shot, because just adding that little bit of extra speed alone, I think is going to be worth checking it out.
Yeah, and I should have checked. I mean, honestly, I'm over here I wish there was a ROM hack of the game where Mickey was faster, but I didn't even check. That might exist, because it's the ROM hacking community is really fucking cool, and it's more often than not, there are ROM hacks for really obscure games, even, where it's oh, this is cool. And my favorite ones are where they're I really like this game, but it needs some improvements, and we've gone ahead and made those improvements.
The game may be fixed now, but I know originally it was locked in at 30 frames per second on the PC. And then the modding community made patches to up it to 60. So I don't know if eventually they made it where you could do that, but I know there's a way you can play it on Steam at 60 FPS.
Awesome.
Yeah, we all might own this game if you're a PS Plus member, because apparently back in April of 15, they released it for free to the PlayStation Plus members.
Yeah, I might have it then.
So it might be in one of the download queues available.
I'm going to check. I'm assuming that was probably for PS3, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much, as far as like the game goes, that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
What do you think of the final fight
The final fight.
against Miserable?
We should probably talk about that.
Well, we actually skipped the boss right before.
Oh my God, you're right. Which is like, yeah, I was just like, well, we're done. See you later, everybody. The final boss, the boss before the final boss is, I guess, a giant who is wielding some kind of weapon, which I thought was a sword. I couldn't tell what it was.
Like a bat or a club, maybe. Yeah, I couldn't tell either.
Something like that, because he like keeps it, like, I guess, in a sheath or something on his back. And it's
He's like hiding it from you,
right? And because it's like, and it totally works. Because like the first time I encountered him, I was like, well, I don't know what to do, so I guess I'm gonna start figuring out this boss fight by trying to jump on him, slamming him with my butt like I do. And the moment I do, it's like, oh, I can't do that. It hurts. Every time I try to butt slam him, it doesn't feel good anymore.
He somehow puts his arm up over his head, gets his fist right there, and then landing on that's not so good.
Yeah, don't land on someone's fist. That's the first rule of butt slamming.
Well, I mean, it's a more advanced move,
Right.
really.
Yeah, you got to work up to it.
You got to work, yeah.
Mickey can probably do it in the second game.
Yeah, right. He's more experienced. He's got a few more rings on the inside. But like, it's one of those where it's like, it's kind of like a weird Mike Tyson's Punch-Out kind of fight, because it's like the giant has a tell. He'll eventually, when he's close enough to you, he'll swing whatever that weapon is at you, and while it's in the attack position, you can jump on his head.
Yep.
And every time I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
I was going to say his tell is a smile.
Right.
So like, as soon as you figure that out, this boss is simple.
Yeah.
You literally just get close to him, wait till he smiles, immediately jump on his head, and you're done. Like, there's zero challenge to it as soon as you figure that out.
And every time you hit him, he gets more red, which I thought was kind of neat. Like, that was cool. It's a neat thing, because it's like, especially in older games like this, I always like it when when an enemy or a boss has like some kind of sign that you're dealing damage to them.
Sure.
And I feel like this boss fight, even though it was easy, I agree with you, is well designed in that regard, because it's like nothing is more frustrating to me when I'm playing a retro game and it's like, I have no idea if I'm damaging this boss or not.
Yep. And how many more hits do you possibly have? I've hit him 3 times. All right, it's not a Mario game.
Right, exactly.
5 times. Nope, still not
there,
good.
Yeah. And it harkens back to like one of my favorite things. I remember being a kid and playing the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. I loved how the bosses would start flashing red. Like when you're fighting Bebop and Rocksteady in April's burning apartment. And it's like, I remember the first time I fought them and it's like, oh, they're flashing red. That must mean that they're almost dead. And then they flash faster and faster. And it's just like, that's one of those like memories one of those gaming memories that I'll never forget.
Yeah, that literally is my favorite game of all time.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, I had the stand-up arcade machine for several years. Yeah, I just ended up selling it last year, I believe, just to make space for the retro consoles and games. But yeah, I like it on the NES better, to be honest, because that's what I played it mostly.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up super poor, so like I had very limited exposure to the actual arcade when I was a kid. So I did get to play it some, but like I don't think I ever got past the second level. In the actual arcades.
I would always get in trouble for blowing my entire allowance in the span of 30 minutes playing that game.
Yeah.
I'm being generous with 30 minutes. It was probably more like 10. Because well, there goes $5.
Yeah, my first real experience to that arcade game, not to get too off track, is on the Xbox 360. They actually released it. They released that, Simpsons, a remake to Turtles in Time, which is no longer available. But I actually still have all that on my Xbox 360, and I got an arcade stick, so it's like pretty much playing in the arcade. So I played the hell out of those games.
Yep, I did the same thing. I've got one of the Hori arcade sticks, and that is totally how I played the Turtles arcade game on Xbox Live. And Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is one of my favorite beat 'em ups.
We've got to
ever.
do that.
Yeah, we have to do that.
Never played it.
Oh man, it's so good. It's really, really good. Do you like River City Ransom by any chance?
Oh yeah, love it.
Then you'd probably like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and it's like heavily influenced by that game.
Okay. Yeah, no, it sounds great. I'll add it to the backlog of about 1,000 games.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Trust me, I get it. You've got more to play than I do.
Oh Lord, it's a problem for sure. I keep telling myself that as soon as I retire, I'll be able to get through it. Yeah, never gonna fucking happen.
I guess the only thing we have left to talk about in the game is the final boss, which is Mizrabel / Maleficent. When you confront her, Minnie is in a bubble, and it looks like she's about to get body swapped or something. And then
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday. Yes, thank you for correcting. That's the proper terminology. And essentially, it's a way easier fight than I expected. I did die. It took me like probably two fights to figure it out. But she summons spirits, I guess, that like encircle her, and then she sends them out in multiple directions. But the pattern's the same every time. It just where she appears on the stage changes. But other than that, I mean, you pretty much just butt slam her, I think like 5 or 6 times, and she's done.
It only took me 3 times, we believe.
I need to go back and count.
Yeah, because so my buddy Brian and I, we were playing, and we get to her, and I hit her twice, and I pause it. I'm like, "Oh, dude, you should record like the final fight. Like this could be cool."
Yeah, I saw that video in the group. That was great.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We were pretty tanked up at that point. But so I unpaused the game. I hit her one more time, fall through the platform, get kicked off to the side. I'm like, "Oh, sweet! Like this is going to be multiple phase.
Second
here
form.
we go.
Yep.
Second form. Yeah, 3 hits. Cool. All right, let's do this." And then it goes to the final flying away from the castle, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? 3 times? What? This was the easiest fight in the whole game."
It's longer in
the remake. It's much
remake.
longer in the remake.
It needs to be longer.
It's difficult.
Because I was also surprised that like she didn't have a second form, because it was like very much like you, Stephen Michael. It was like, all right, here we go. It's time for the second form. And it's like, oh, we're escaping from the castle on that cloaked man's broom. And then the game,
it's very strange.
It essentially ends with you landing where you first entered the castle, and Mickey and Minnie hold hands and start spinning like they did at the beginning of the game, except it is like just in reverse.
Yep. And then they roll credits.
And then, that's it. And then you get a little special thing at the end. You see the screen flashes rapidly, giving everybody a seizure. And it is revealed that the whole time Mickey and Minnie were watching this game being played in a theater alongside many other mice. Do they do that in the remake?
I didn't see it, but I also didn't. I didn't finish it. I had to watch. I watched videos for the entirety of it.
Yeah.
Because Smash Brothers. So
yeah. You've been hitting Smash pretty hard.
Fuck yes. Fuck yes.
Smash is life at the moment.
I'm almost done with the World of Light. I just have a little bit more.
Man, I am so not almost done with it. I'm not even halfway. I haven't even cleared half of the squares needed to finish World of Light.
I think I have three spirits left to collect in the World of Light.
Nice.
And then
so many. I'm an idiot. I'm playing
barely
them hard.
Started that.
Oh, you take something on
unlocked
normal.
all the characters, so
I'm not even there yet. I think I have like probably 9 more characters to unlock. Not outside of the World of Light.
See, but you're training like Rock Lee. You've got your weighted clothes on in hard mode, so when you go up against everybody else in the Tadpog Nation, you take that shit off.
That's my theory, but it's like now that I'm like balls deep into it. I'm like, I've committed to this, and I don't feel like it's actually going to help me because it's like I'm playing in World of Light. I'm not playing like with the tournament rules, the TADPOG tournament rules, you know. So I'm going to get raffle stomped. It's going to be a nightmare.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Is there anything else that you guys would like to say about Castle of Illusion before we move on?
Nothing offhand that I can think of.
Pick it up for
Other
less
than the
than
final boss just being too damn easy.
Yeah.
That's really my only that and Mickey's speed.
Yeah, it's so slow.
If you pick up the remake for less than like $9, then I think it's a good thing that everybody should look into.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do it. I'm actually gonna commit to myself doing it next week because this week I'm too damn busy. But yeah, before January, I definitely want to get to it.
Stephen, Michael, would you recommend this game to somebody?
Recommend it at its price point or recommend it in general?
I would say in general.
In general, I would actually, yes, I would recommend it simply because I think that the art direction and the level design, relatively speaking, it's worth investing a couple hours of your time to play something that probably has to have a cult classic following, I would assume, if they remastered the game and came up with the whole thing. And, you know, obviously it's a Disney game, so if you're a fan of that, get used to the controls, you know, get used to the speed. And yes, I think it is worth playing. Check it out for sure.
I would recommend it too, but just barely. Because it
Just
is.
barely.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, it's a good looking game, and I think it sounds really good. And I do think if you're a Disney fan, for sure, check it out. But it's one of those where it's like, I don't know, the length is just right because honestly, if it was any longer, I think if I couldn't finish this game in one sitting, I wouldn't finish it. I think I would be like, I'd play through in one sitting and be like, okay, I experienced that game. No time to move on to another game that I like more.
Yeah.
But you've already beaten it, and you plan on going back for the achievements.
I know, it's
So
true.
what's that tell you?
I know, I'm willing to go back for the achievements. I think honestly what that's telling me is that I just want those 2 achievements. But I am willing to go back.
Nothing to do with the game.
Right. I mean, if the game, I don't think this is a bad game. And honestly, I was really worried that we were going to have a hard time talking about this game because when on episodes where we're talking about a game that's kind of middling, I feel like we have to work really hard to talk about it. And I kind of feel like that's where this game falls. I don't think it's a great game. I also don't think it's a bad game. I think it's somewhere in between. So it's kind of tough because it's like, I guess the main reason I wouldn't recommend it is just because I feel like there's so many other great retro games to play, where it's like, I guess if you've already played all of those, then yeah, then play Castle of Illusion.
Do you guys have any achievements?
I do. I have 3 achievements that came from Twitch chat.
I just have one.
Let's start with you, Stephen Michael. Please go ahead.
Okay, so mine is going to be Tom Arnold would be impressed. I don't. You guys probably don't get this reference, but at any rate, well,
That's a Two Dudes reference.
Yeah, 2 dudes in an S. Tom Arnold, unofficial mascot. So Tom Arnold would be impressed is to beat the game on normal without dying. That's it. Simple, short and sweet.
I don't know that I could do that. Not yet. Not until I train. I'm giving up Smash Brothers.
I think I could.
You probably could. I mean, you guys were. I mean, it sounds like you were pretty sauced, and you got through the game handily.
I've got one
I'm
as
telling
well.
you.
What you got, Tyler?
Mine is Riff Raff, Street Rat.
Riff Raff, Street Rat. Is that a Heathcliff reference?
It's from Aladdin.
Oh, Aladdin, damn it.
Aladdin.
Riff Raff was a character in Heathcliff. I would have let the records show.
And you unlock Riff Raff, Street Rat by throwing 100 apples, like
Yes.
you do in the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin.
Yes, man. Thank you. Or can you alternatively unlock that achievement if you play with Steve from Full House?
Yes.
I've got 3 achievements. The first of which is coming from Faceful of Alien Wing Wong on Twitch. It's a secret to everyone. And in order to unlock It's a Secret to Everyone, you need to play this game and wonder why so many people love this piece of shit. This game does have, I mean, like, this game when it came out was reviewed very well. And I honestly think it's because it came out in 1990. I feel like if this game had come out like in 92, it wouldn't have been received nearly as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a piece of its from its time period.
Yeah. And I mean, it's pre-Super Mario World, too. So, I mean, it's like it's beating out, it's just getting in at the right time, I feel like.
Makes me want to pop in that World of Illusion just to see if they kind of fixed some of the issues.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I'm curious what they've done. Because if they didn't fix those issues, then I feel like that's a major misstep.
Oh, for sure.
Second achievement I've got comes from Malort Mike of MacTac, which is Mike and Kyle talk about cops. It's a wonderful podcast. If you're not listening to it already, please check it out. They're both really funny, and their production values are very high. I think you would enjoy it. Mike's achievement is, what is a mouse? In order to unlock what is a mouse, you need to find a miserable pile of secret area. Because this game does have some secret areas to it, which honestly, like for the most part, I didn't find on my first playthrough. Like when I'd replay a level, it's kind of where I'd start feeling confident and poking around and seeing what I could find.
And without saying too much, just to hint around about it, the guys of MacTac have a new project they're working on that sounds fucking amazing, and they have pulled us into it to be a part of it, and I'm very excited for it and to see where it goes. I think it's going to be great. So please look forward to that thing, of which I will say no more about.
Yeah, stay tuned. When that becomes like a thing, we'll let you know, or they will. So
that's true.
And the third achievement I got is coming from Zal on Twitch. His full name is Zal Knop. He's a great streamer on Twitch. You guys should check him out if you're Twitch viewers. And that's XALNOP. I feel like that's worth saying because that X can go either way. His achievement is in the title. I'm sorry. The title is by Doc Coyote. The achievement is Zal's. The title is Doc Coyote's. Dark Mickey Morphosis. And in order to unlock Dark Mickey Morphosis, you need to uncover the truth that the Castle of Illusion is actually Castlevania, the one and only Dracula's castle, which moves through place and time. It can take any form that it wants. It can take any form of electricity or spiritual form that it so damn pleases, and that includes the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, nice. I like it.
Makes sense.
And that's pretty much all I've got as far as achievements go.
Okay, cool.
Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
I have a couple questions for you. If you were to give this game a beard that sums up how you feel about it, what kind of beard would it be and why?
The original game. We're talking about the original game because since I went through the remake,
You can do. I want to do the original for sure, but if you want to do both, I'm good with that. I know that's like double beard.
Okay, well I'll do beard for the remake.
Okay.
The beard I would give it is King Triton's beard from The Little Mermaid, in its flowy white majesty.
Okay. Because it's you like the remake, and King Triton definitely
Got an impressive ass beard.
He got a good beard.
I mean, it alludes that he's the son of Poseidon. So
and he never pops a boner.
no fish boners.
Unlike other characters in the movie, which I know people say is debunked, but I'm sorry, that priest totally pops a boner. You could tell yourself whatever you want. You could show me whatever quote evidence unquote that you'd like to. That fucking priest pops a boner.
That's the Mike Matei.
Oh yeah. Tyler, if you were to give this game a pair of glasses that sums up how you feel about it, what kind of glasses would you give it?
To piggyback off Steven, I would give it the glasses of one Tom Arnold. Because I feel like it's pretty average. Pretty average.
His glasses or Tom Arnold in general?
Well, Tom Arnold in general and the Genesis version of this game.
Okay, fair. I never understood Tom Arnold as a kid.
It's pretty okay and has its moments.
Yeah.
He's funny in Trailer Park Boys.
And the older I get, for whatever reason, the funnier Tom Arnold is to me. Like, when I was a kid, like, I did not like Tom Arnold at all. Like, even in, like, because who does he play in Roseanne? I can't even remember.
Oh, what's his name's? He's like Dan's best friend, and he's married to...
We're failing on Roseanne trivia.
Yeah.
Shame on us. But I always hated it. I always hated the episodes he was on. I do have a couple more questions. The first of which is, I think Stephen Michael's going to do really well on this. So I'm going to ask you first, Tyler. I want to know how much this game is on average, according to PriceCharting.com. Loose.
$11.
$11? Okay. Stephen Michael, how much do you think this game is loose on average, according to PriceCharting.com?
Let's see. Well, I know what I paid for a complete copy, so I would say I'm going to say the average price is $11.50.
All right, so we got 11 and 11.50. Actual retail value of Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse loose on PriceCharting.com at the time of this recording is $17.47, which is more than I would pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I paid more than that for it.
You're a collector. It's different.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, how much was the full Monty?
So on eBay, I actually got my eBay account pulled up here. I bought it on September 25th of this year, and I got it for $29.75.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds
pretty
like
good.
yeah. I mean, that's only like $12 more than it is loose on average. So
Yeah. So to have it at, would you say 17 something?
17 and some change. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I personally like NES, Super Nintendo, all that kind of stuff. I collect loose, not a big deal. But for whatever reason, I cannot collect Genesis or Master Systems games without at least the box. And to go from
Those boxes are much easier to be intact. So
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. What do you know what the CIB price is?
You know what? I don't, but I'm happy to look that up. I've just got the loose.
I would assume it's probably around $30. I got it for a quarter under that, but to go from 17 to 30, I think and I got it with the box and the manual, so I think it'd be worth picking that up because the box is very nice. The back of the box, and the actual manual is fairly well done. It goes into some good detail. It gives you a lot. I don't know if you guys like manuals or not, but I'm kind of a nerd about that where I truly enjoy reading the manuals before I actually play the game and kind of check out the artwork and any control things in it.
then you have to read
I really enjoy that.
the Home Improvement manual for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, real men don't need instructions.
Right.
Blotted across the top.
The average case and box price that I'm showing on PriceCharting.com, it sounds like you got a deal, at least a little bit. The average is $32.98.
Wow, saved $3.23.
Yep.
Nice.
And the new price is $82.32.
$82.32.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I never understand is why, like, new collectors, like, why? Like, I enjoy the art of the boxes and the cartridges and all that up on the shelf, and I think they look great, but what the hell is the difference between complete and new? Like, why does that matter to you? Coming from a guy who I own several new games, but just by happenstance.
Sure.
I own, like, Super Star Wars and Perfect Dark and a couple other ones, which are not very expensive new, but I've never really understood that trend of why. What's the point of owning it?
I could understand, like, for me, like, if there was a game that I loved, I think it would be cool to own a new copy of that game, but I can't imagine having multiple new copies, seeking them out and paying the money for them. Like, the money's like the real thing. I guess it's kind of one of those things where it's like, some people just, I would want to like be like, oh, I like this game so much that I'm willing to sacrifice this much money in order to prove it.
See, I think it's human nature to want things other people don't have and to feel special. So new games are another level of rarity and luxury that people can tack on perceived value just so they can like, oh, you got it complete. Well, I've got it brand new.
Never
but you don't have this. Yeah,
right.
you can never, you can sell that one all day. This one will never be like this again. Like, it's just a level of bullshit for people to feel more important.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, that just, if that's the thought process, that's kind of douchey because, like, my collection is for me and me only. Like, some people would scoff at it because I have so many loose games. The complete in box collectors are like, oh, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Collector's Quest. Johnny Iucci, awesome podcast, awesome show, but he's a complete in box collector and he scoffs at, loose cartridges on their own.
Yeah, because that's his perceived way to be better. So
yeah, for me, Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. My collection's for me. So people have been talking about like a video game crash forever now, at least the past several years. And if it happens, I would be happy as hell because all I would do is fill out my collection.
Yeah.
Because my collection to me, like, my high end games worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars, that shit could all be worth $5 tomorrow. It doesn't make a damn difference to me. It just means that I'm going to end up going and buying more shit.
You're going to be able to finish your collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, at a hell of a deep discount compared to what it's costing me now.
Yeah, I never really, other than the games that I had like as a kid, I haven't been a really big collector. It's been one of those things where I've been interested in getting into it, but it's also, man, I don't have that disposable income at the moment. So it's like I'm also one of those guys where it's like, yeah, if the NES game bubble pops, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of games too on the cheap instead of paying some real money for them.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. For me, it just comes down to I've always liked collecting things, like now I'm at the point where in the NES lifespan, or like rather collection, where I'm at like around 100 games left to go. So now all of the games are starting to get up to $40-$50 or more.
Sure.
So it's like, it's slow going. I usually buy a few a month anyways. But now it's like, okay, well, what can I get on the Super Nintendo? Well, yeah, I get a shitload of games for under $10.
Uh-huh.
And what about the 64? Even more games under $10. So it's like, all right, cool. So then I'm kind of filling that niche or that need rather. I don't know if it's like an OCD thing where it's just like, oh yeah, it's just cool to have them. But really, the NES to me is the big thing, and then kind of getting these other ones just on the cheap as I go is cool. And then I started collecting Nintendo Power just because you can get those cheap, and the Nintendo Powers are amazing. I don't know if you guys ever messed around with those, but to go back and read the articles and look at them, I get a ton of nostalgia out of it. And I never had a Nintendo Power subscription.
Yeah, me neither. I've gone back and I've read a lot of the scans.
Okay.
And it's like Nintendo Power is one of those other things where it's been like, yeah, it'd be really cool to collect those. And I mean, honestly, even from like a design standpoint, because I'm a graphic designer, and it's like the design in Nintendo Power is not great, but they do some like the art direction is pretty cool because it's like back when they were doing like the photography model covers, like the clay looking style, like the modeling
Mario
clay.
2.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Sure.
some really cool shit. Like, I mean, someone was paid to make that, and not only make it, but then photograph it. I mean, there's like that's really, really cool.
I never even thought about it from that perspective. I wonder if that still exists somewhere.
I mean, I don't know. That's a really good question because it's like, I don't really see stuff like that. And if it does exist, like I do know that like, for example, like Retronauts, like I know like they're a podcast and they do custom art for each of their episodes. And it's like, that's really cool. And by custom art, I don't mean like, they're not pulling sprites or, clipping things out from box art and stuff like I do. I mean, they're like, actually there's an illustration for every episode. And I guess that might be like the closest analog that I know of.
Okay. Yeah, that's like the original Angry Video Game Nerd, when Mike's drawing all these. Yeah, where it's all custom hand-drawn art pieces.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's amazing. It's really like, to me, like that's a testament where it's like, man, like back in those early Nintendo Power days where it's like someone like really, really cared about this, and it's like cared enough to like pay for production and stuff like that. So yeah, Nintendo Power I think is, a wonderful magazine. But I'm totally just like, I mean, I'll look through scans, but I don't actually own any Nintendo Powers.
Yeah.
I do have 10 more questions for you guys.
Fuck yeah.
If you're interested.
Let's do it.
We do have a quiz that came in from Quizmaster Bovine Bear Matt. This quiz is entitled Mickey or Minnie or Both. The description for the quiz is, speaks for itself. I give 10 clues. You must guess the correct answer. It'll either be Mickey, Minnie, or both. Are you ready to begin?
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
We're all non-believers as far as Mickey goes, so this might be rough.
Yep.
We're gonna do great. We're gonna do great.
This is gonna be fantastic. We're gonna nail it. All right, first question, Dave style. Has an uncle named Mortimer? I would hope that's not both.
Not both of them.
Because then they're in an incest situation.
I feel like that's Mickey.
It's probably Mickey, right?
I feel like I've seen that.
Makes
It's kind of used to be all about the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Yeah.
So that's where I will derive most of my knowledge, and I feel like he visited Mortimer Mouse.
All right. So Mortimer?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's lock it in. It's fucking Minnie.
Oh, damn.
It's fucking Minnie.
Okay.
Damn it.
Jesus.
All right. So far, off to a great start.
That one was just to throw the audience off to not really let them know about our knowledge.
Yeah, that's probably it. I'm sure these are going to get super easy. Next question. Originally appeared in Steamboat Willie. Now, that is Mickey, 100%.
I feel like Mickey had to come way before Minnie.
Oh, originally appeared. So, like, first appearance? That's what we're talking. Okay.
Well, wouldn't it be Steamboat Willie?
Well, the answer has to be Mickey, Minnie, or both.
Because Steamboat Willie wasn't his first cartoon, was it?
I know
I thought it was.
Ah, God, I'm not good at this. I know it was like what? Like the first cartoon with sound? Is that right? I don't know.
have no idea.
God, we're the worst.
Just say Mickey.
Pathetic.
We'll just go Mickey for all of these.
But do you think it's a trick?
I feel like Minnie had to be later.
I
agree.
And I know that Mickey is in Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
I don't know
100%.
I don't know that Minnie is.
I've got like a 3-second clip of that playing in my head of him just like going back and
Whistling
forth with
and
the
spinning the wheel?
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
all.
exactly.
I say just Mickey.
That's all I know.
All right, we're going with Mickey. Locking it in.
That's what I think.
It's fucking both.
What?
Damn.
Both of them. All right,
We're doing good, boys. We're doing good.
Yeah, you done got us, Matt. I think you done. I think you've got the aces. What's fucked up is like we have 3 options.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Next question. Actually appeared in 2 shorts before Steamboat Willie, but the films failed to find a distributor.
Gotta be Mickey.
Or both.
Could be both.
Well, here's my thought process,
Okay.
right? You went Minnie number 1, both number 2, and now we know that Minnie was in Steamboat Willie, so
But it said
I'm
first
thinking-
appearance. Let's say Mickey again.
All right. I'm good with Mickey. Let's go Mickey. Locking it in. It is Mickey. We're on the board,
Yes.
boys. We're on the
Yeah,
board.
we're using logic to get through this.
And we're going to have
we go.
to. Okay. Next question. Referred to as Minerva Mouse in the 1942 comic strip story, The Gleam.
That's both of them.
Yeah, both were named Minerva. It was a very confusing comic.
When they're fused together, they are Minerva Mouse.
I am Minerva. We are Minerva. Yeah, when Minnie wears Mickey as a symbiotic suit, they become Minerva.
So
Just
gotta
Minnie.
be one of the 2. I'm thinking it's got to be Minnie simply because it sounds. I feel like this is going to be a lot of trick questions and shit. And that sounds like too much of a masculine name, but it ends with an A.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's got to be Minnie.
I think it's Minnie. We all remember that BioShock Minerva's Den. Minnie appears in that. So
Yeah. And she's also she's also often known as the Roman goddess of combat. So yeah, Minerva.
That's silly. That's it. All right, locking it in. Minnie. It's Minnie. All right, we're
There we
2 for
go.
4. We're bringing our average up.
We're still failing.
Yeah, we're doing bad. Next question. Originally voiced by Walt Disney himself. Is this a both? Is this a both?
It's got to be.
they have
right?
the same-
because you would have to.
They do sound very
They sound
similar.
the same, right?
Let's say both. Fuck it.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
All right, both. I'm logging it in. Both. Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
All
there
right.
we go.
All right, so we're 3 for 5.
Excellent.
Next question. The original pet owner of Pluto, Rover, in this appearance, in the 1930 short, The Picnic. I always think of Pluto as Mickey's dog, but
Yeah, that's what I think.
I bet he is. Oh shit! He's the main character in Epic Mickey, or he's the
I don't
antagonist in
anything
Epic
I know who
Mickey.
you're talking about. I can't remember the rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, unfortunately.
I bet it's his, and Mickey takes it
Steals them from him?
Originally his, and then later on when they drop him, Pluto just appears to be Mickey's. So I'm gonna say I can't remember his name, so I'm gonna reach for half credit and say that thing.
But it has to be Mickey, Minnie, or both, though.
Oh, you're right.
Well,
Damn it.
But if I don't know anything about this, but if Mickey gets him later,
Yeah.
then it's got to be Minnie's,
I think it's
Yeah.
Minnie's dog. I think that I have seen this
Oh, okay.
episode or this cartoon. I'm not positive that I have, but I vaguely recall as a child seeing an old cartoon where Mickey and Minnie go on a picnic and like Pluto is Minnie's dog, and like there's something where it's like Mickey's trying to keep him safe or something like that, or like Pluto's like really causing a romantic issue between the two. Minnie's my guess, but it's still a guess.
Or it's both of them, and he just like takes it from her and says, fuck you.
Yeah, they were living in sin.
Yeah, Minnie.
Minnie, you good
Yeah,
with
let's
that?
do it.
All right, Minnie,
Yep.
locking it in. God, Oh, okay. I chose the wrong one. Sorry. It is, in fact, Minnie.
Okay.
I clicked on the wrong one.
Nice.
It was the one above, which originally voiced by Walt Disney. I was like, both? It was really both? All right. So now we're what? Well, I lost track. That's fine. We're 4 for 6.
4 for 6.
There we go.
4 for 6? 5 for
Next.
6.
I think we're 4 for 6.
We're 4 for 6.
We'll go through. We'll tally it up at the end. Next question. First to wear white gloves in 1929's Opry House. I have no idea.
I have no idea.
I would guess Mickey or both, but
Oh, both make sense.
I don't know if they appeared like I don't know what the time lapse.
Do we know
was.
if they were both even in it?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I mean, I might say Mickey because maybe he wore gloves as the conductor.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's it.
So
Did he wear him as Steamboat Willie?
I think like in my
don't remember.
memory he's got them on, but I don't know. Maybe that's like
Yeah, because that's the only way I can think of him as well is with him on.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's the maybe it's the Mandela effect.
Just go Mickey?
I'm
wanna
good
go
with
both?
I'm
I'd say
good with
Mickey.
Mickey.
Mickey? All right.
All right, let's do it.
I mean, because both can't be first, right? That's
it depends.
Oh,
intrinsically
see,
defeats
using logic.
first.
Using logic. Here we go.
All right, Mickey, locking it in. It is, in fact, Mickey.
All right.
Excellent work.
Nice. Excellent.
Next question. Made a cameo appearance in the film Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I can't place either of them in that movie.
I can't, but I'm more likely to say Minnie.
I'm more likely to say Minnie, too, for whatever reason.
Yeah. Maybe she wouldn't be
That
as hardly.
Both. Don't forget about both.
Oh, yeah. Okay, both. Yeah.
Well, what's the one voluptuous chick? Is she around other female cartoon characters?
Jessica Rabbit or Betty Boop?
Betty Boo. Are there like other? Because I could see Minnie being there
I could, too.
in that background where you just completely miss her. But Mickey works for me.
It just seems like unless they just couldn't straight. I don't know, man. It seems weird to me that Minnie would be in it, but Mickey wouldn't. Because like
Yeah.
Mickey's like
Yeah.
the one, you know?
But I could see where they just wouldn't want to lend his likeness. Like he's too big. You could have Minnie though.
Maybe. God.
That makes sense.
My vote's
Because is Bugs Bunny in it? Because I know Daffy Duck
is for sure. Daffy and Donald in that dueling piano
Yeah.
scene.
So I wonder if
literally
it's
haven't
not
seen this
the
movie
big
since I was a
people.
kid.
It's been a while for me too. It's probably been like 10 years.
I want to say Minnie.
You go with Minnie?
I want to say Minnie.
All right. I'm good with Minnie. Stephen Michael?
Just
Let's do
based
it.
on
Yeah,
not
let's do
remembering
it.
Bugs Bunny in it.
Yeah. All right. Minnie.
Minnie.
Locking it in. Minnie. Both.
Ah, damn.
Hey, man. We did our best. No one can say
Yeah,
we
for
didn't
sure.
try our best. All right.
That's it.
Next question. First words. Sorry. First words said was hot dogs.
Mickey.
Just got a gut feeling about that?
Just because I know that's the ending theme to the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is hot dog.
Oh.
And it's always his catchphrase when he's happy. Hot dog.
All right. I'm good with Mickey then.
There you go.
That sounds solid.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Yeah, logic is there.
All right. I'm logging it in. It is, in fact, Mickey.
All right.
Good job, Tyler.
Nice. Yeah, good call.
Last question. Between 1974 and 1986, didn't speak a word in any appearance.
I would think Minnie.
I mean,
'cause
that's
we would
what-
assume that Mickey is talking before that, right?
And when did Walt Disney die?
Oh, I don't know.
So when did they just
He
leave
didn't-
them
he
both
didn't die.
unvoiced after he died?
Maybe. And I don't know what appearances there were for Mickey and Minnie between 74 and 86. I mean, it's like,
And to have one speak and not the other in any appearance? Like I
Seems-
might want to say both. Like they
Both.
just didn't.
I mean, I'm good with
Yeah.
that. I think like,
Yeah, it makes sense.
and I know Mickey, I think Fantasia might have come out in that time period. And
Okay,
that's,
of course he
and
does
there's
not
no
speak.
speaking. Yeah.
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 You want to go both?
Yeah, let's do it.
All
I mean, it's both or Mickey, but why would Minnie talk and not
Right,
Mickey? So
yeah.
I think both.
It's a sexist thing, probably.
Yeah.
Just trying to prove a point. All right, I'm locking it in. Both. God damn, it's Minnie.
Damn.
We tried. We did our best.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got.
I'm thankful that I wasn't on last week's with the music because I would have just sat here silently.
Yeah, like I did.
Yeah, that was a tough one for sure. We missed a lot. We'll just go with that. This is like whose line it is anyway. The points don't fucking matter. But we failed. We failed. As long as everybody knows that we failed, I feel like we're good.
We got more than I thought we were going to, so I'm
Yeah.
happy with it.
Yeah, all right. That's a good point. We failed, but we're going to count it as a win. And that is pretty much it. Steve and Michael, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a privilege, and I cannot thank you enough. I'm very grateful.
If you don't mind, tell us one more time where we can find the Facebook group.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's called Retro Gaming Monthly. You can find it right on Facebook. Just use your search bar, or you can go to retrogamingmonthly.com. It'll just forward you to the group. Again, we do a retro video game every month, about halfway into the month. There's a poll that goes up. It's community feedback on what games they kind of want on it. I knock off obviously the winner goes on, knock off the low-end games. So the games are always rotating out. Starting in January of next year, we're actually going to introduce High Score Challenge on top of the game for each month. So that'll be its own little side challenge with games that are shorter and have scores, that kind of thing.
That's exciting.
Yep. This month for December, we're doing Castle of Illusion. January is actually going to be Ghosts and Goblins. That poll has closed, and it was like a blowout. It wasn't even close.
I don't know, man. I was worried that Goof Troop, it was between Ghosts and Goblins and Goof Troop. And when I saw that Ghosts and Goblins even had a chance of winning, because I had voted for both of those games, and it's like, I love Ghosts and Goblins. So like when I saw that it was close, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and remove that vote from Goof Troop.
Yeah, and it took the lead. It won probably by, I don't know, 6 or 8 votes, which is pretty large. And then, of course, for next month, actually, it's going to be announced tomorrow at noon. This actual podcast will probably come out after it. But at any rate, it is going to be Tetris on the Nintendo, the original Tetris for the NES, not Tengen. And that's going to be the High Score Challenge for January.
Awesome.
So you're going to have Ghosts and Goblins, and so it's going to be a total NES month, which, the group doesn't really pigeonhole to one system. I try to balance it out with suggestions and what goes up on the poll. But yeah, it's going to be a fun month. So if you can run through Ghosts and Goblins real quick, excellent. I've never beaten it before, but would like to give it a good go. And then I'm curious to see what the Tetris scores are going to be, because that one actually is like a blowout. It's got like 3 times the amount of votes from second place.
Yeah. I was like, man, I had to vote for RC Pro-Am because that was on there, but I was like, I'm also going to vote for Tetris because I 100% know that's the game that's going to win anyway.
Yep.
I like Tetris, so why not vote for it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great way to kick off the new High Score Challenge for the month. So it'll be fun.
Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
You want to close it out?
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. So you don't miss the next episode. What have we talked about doing?
We are planning on doing a new game. We're going to go against the grain. We've talked about doing Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah.
A game I haven't played yet, but I've heard wonderful things about.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Very cool.
Let's see. Hey, do you want to send us something? You like those us eating stuff or opening stuff for intros? You can send that to TADPOG Studios, care of Nicole Nance, P.O. Box 3785, Paducah, Kentucky 42002. If you want to call us, leave a voicemail. That's 270-883-2555. Got an Instagram, TADPOG_podcast.
Yep. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You know how to do all that stuff. You can find us on Twitch. I try to stream every Sunday around 8:30 Central. If you want to pop in, say hi, help with achievements and all that stuff, that would be great. And you can take part in the Would You Rather poll, which I plan on doing weekly. As long as that subreddit doesn't run dry, that's where I'm pulling them from. So. And that, of course, is in the spirit of Exalted Lord Micah Purdue, who used to call in regularly with Would You Rathers for us. And speaking of Exalted Lord Micah Purdue, I want to mention that if you plan on going to Tadpog Prom, a.k.a. the Louisville Arcade Expo, and you want to get a room with the group, please let Micah know before the end of this month. Otherwise, you might be on your own. So just a heads up. And also, Micah, thank you very much for putting in all the hard work it takes to organize that. I know that is not easy, and we really appreciate it. Also, in the vein of announcements, we talked about Smash Brothers earlier. Brandon Cates is organizing the Tadpog Smash Brothers tournament.
Hell yeah.
If you want in on that, look for the announcement on our Facebook group and let them know that you want in. I don't know the count, but I think we've got like 34 entries entrance already. So it's actually much bigger than I expected that to be. So that's amazing. But I imagine there's still room. Just let them know. I think before January 5th, but I'm not positive.
Okay. Our theme song is Moved by Sycamore Drive. Link to that track we found in the show notes at tadpog.com. How do you guys want to close this one out?
Before we close it out, I want to do one more thing.
Oh, I forgot about something too. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
I'm glad you grabbed your phone.
We do have a Patreon, patreon.com/tadpog. We have some wonderful people who donate on there, and we really appreciate it. And I wanted to thank the people who have recently donated. We've got Exalted Lord Micah Purdue raised his pledge by a penny, riding that penny train, baby. We've got Terrified Michelle, who also raised her pledge by a penny, riding that penny train. We got Executive Bruiser Janie, who just edited her pledge, raised it by a penny. Thank you, Janie.
Nice.
Riding that penny train. Got Cousin David, who just raised his donation considerably. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for doing that, David. You're you're already like a huge donor, so like we don't deserve this, but we do appreciate it. It was more than a penny, so here you go. It's a long one.
Yeah.
It's a long boy. And then I want to thank Nathan Eaton. He just recently upped his pledge as well, beyond the penny amount, so we'll give him a long one. Thank you, Nathan. And Nathan's he's been hanging out on Twitch a lot too, which has been really nice. Thanks for chilling with me, dude.
And Ross Rachel Green recorded a voicemail, emailed it to me, and asked that we play it on the air for me to listen to, but not to listen to it beforehand.
Okay.
So I just forwarded that to you.
Okay. Would you like to do that?
If we can.
Here's the thing. We don't have any stinger material for this episode.
Oh, yeah, because my dad came in to tell a joke and then hinted what the joke was.
And we
said,
no, don't do that. Don't do that. So how about we do his call as the stinger?
Perfect.
Because we're running this very lo-fi. I don't have a way of playing voicemails.
Oh, you're right.
While we're in Discord.
About that. Yeah. So all right, that'd be a good singer. That's what we'll do.
Okay, cool.
So how you guys want to close this out?
I mean, as Mickey.
All right, I'm down.
I mean, right?
Steven, sound good?
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right.
We won't pull the football out. I mean, we're not gonna do it like we did Kyle on Symphony of the Night.
Oh, my Mickey impression's spot on, so no worries.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine too. Yeah, this is gonna be great.
So until next time, tropical Capricorn,
Hot dogs.
keep it nerdy. Jews run the media.
Talkie boys, it's me, Ross Rachel Green. Just wanted to drop you a quick line. I love the show, I have done for a while, I will continue to do so. I just wanted to spread some audio love to you guys.
Spread it, baby.
Please consider this a voicemail. I would have actually called and left it on the voicemail line, but that's incredibly expensive.
You wanted
and
a jump
I am
cue.
tight as a
We get
duck's
it.
arse. So yeah, here we go. Tyler, I love you. I love your little face. I love your little beard. You are a super talented storysmith because of all the campaigns and stories and things you write, and the cat stories that we still never heard and I would love to know about. I love the fact that you can cook. I love the fact that you are just super friendly and always there with good advice and just seem like the sweetest guy. So yeah, all the love for you, my friend. Davy Pooh, I love you too, but I mean, if I had to choose between the two of you and one of you was going to wear me like a glove, it'd have to be Tyler.
Oh, I know. I know.
Not missing much because I do suffer from some pretty bad piles, and that would be, it's for everyone, me included. It's probably especially me. Everybody else would just kind of, I don't know, deal with it, be a bit bloody, and you don't have a robotic ass. If you had a robotic ass, then we could talk.
Okay, that's fair.
Actually, that's a good question. If your robotic ass is always sort of like shocking your pelvic floor, can Melissa feel it through the other end? I wonder if you could ask them to like sort of just pass the wire all the way through, so you can have like a robotic like electric cock. Would an electric cock be a good thing or a bad thing for Melissa? I would probably assume bad thing. I don't know. It depends what the voltage is. Also, does that thing have to be charged, or is it like a pacemaker that has like a nuclear battery that they're going to have to take before they cremate you and create a like 3 Mile Island thing? I don't know. I don't want to talk about your cremation, Tyler, because I love you. I want you to stay alive forever and ever. So you can, be available for me to kiss your face one day. Not the corner of your mouth, like beloved Adam. No, full on lip to lip action. We're gonna get down to it. Okay, this has been sort of 2.5 minutes. 3 minutes is an awfully long time to fill with rambling. So I'm gonna have to wrap it up. In summary, love the show, love you guys, love Tyler, love you, Dave.
Not as much as Tyler.
Talky kid sections. You should talk more about kids. I love the stories about your kids. It's a shame that creepy neighbor kid has gone because he was awesome. Okay, now I've got 8 seconds. I love you guys. Speak to you soon.
Thank you, Ross.
Thank you.
That was I'm glad that somebody out there loves me like Michelle loves Dave. So we each have one.
So electric. We got to weigh in on that.
The battery is a 5-year battery.
Oh, I meant the penis. Electric penis.
I better say, because I can crank it up.
Yeah.
So next time Melissa and I are having sex, I'll have the control and I'll crank it up and see if she can feel it.
What's the, like, how do you
And she's in here now, so she's probably very confused since she didn't hear that call.
Yeah, she just heard us sitting in silence for 3 minutes. And then this.
And then, what if she can feel the electricity through my dick?
But when he said, would an electric dick be good? I'm like, as opposed to like a gasoline powered one or battery operated? I'm immediately going to like leaf blowers and stuff like that.
That'll work.
I'm looking at buying a leaf blower for work.
Probably should.
Because we've been throwing cards down the hallway and it's a real bitch bending over to pick those up.
Oh, yeah, you got to buy leaf blowers.
I think we need a leaf blower and a soccer net.
Although one thing, I do have a special card I have to carry around with me that to show any metal detector I have to go through. So then the card be like, shit's going to go off no matter what we do.
I am not a terrorist.
Yeah. Which since Brainy Jr., since the school shooting, they have metal detectors all over the place. So when I went there the other day to pick her up, she was with the metal detector. I handed the guy a card. He was very confused. He just looked at me and said, just go ahead. I was like, that's it? Yeah, right. You should pat me down so anybody can just walk in this, like, I could walk in and be strapped down with guns and just show you this card and you were just going to let me in.
Yeah, that's kind of like, I don't know, not to get into it, but that's kind of like the ridiculousness that kind of like circles things like this, where it's just like, oh, systems are in place, and it's just kind of like, well.
But they're, it's kind of a lot, so we're
right, yeah, exactly. It's like it's not doing anything. It's just an inconvenience for
now
everybody.
It's just like the TSA. It's just kind of an inconvenience now.
Right. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Thanks, Ross.
But thank you very much, Ross. I totally understand. Like the call would have cost you a lot of money for 3 minutes.
Right.
But no, that was very, very nice. I feel like most people love Dave a lot more, so that was very nice.
I don't think that is
or at least Michelle does.
I'm good with that. Thanks, Michelle. Thank you. I'm glad that you're there for me.
Michelle and sort of Melissa. So it's
pretty much anyone whose name starts with M.
Yeah.
Except for Mike. Except for Master Mole. I think Master Mole likes you better.
No, Master Mole likes Taryn best.
Oh,
so.
That's true. Yeah. We are playing a dangerous game and I want to stop.
Okay.
Mitch probably likes me better because of the things you say about
that's
Sean
true.
fucking him.
And Mike is just turned off by both of us now. So
All right, we're done playing this game. We're done.